Sex.
A little bit of awkward silence there at the start, boys. How you going, lads? You're back on the HEX Late Show.
How we going, mate?
Over the old Discourse Syndicate Network. Here we go. And,
how you going, mate?
We're working on a new intro. How you going, lads?
I think I might have to bounce again. I can only see day 43. I'm assuming everyone can see each other.
Yep, we can all see each other.
I'm just going to bounce again.
It's like another day in
paradise
here, isn't it?
I'll be back in a moment.
Actually, Unreg, your sound is stuffed. There's crackle on the microphone whenever you speak.
Right, eh?
So what's going on, guys? Okay. What's going on? What's happening?
He just tossed his trashed his lappy.
Oh, no. I think I'm going to have to log in and boot Unrect out of his own hosting.
No, that's all good.
What's going on? What's going on, T-Bird?
Let's get on.
I know what the problem is.
I'll put a little treasure under there. I'll put a treasure under there to try and get it to sit where it's supposed to. There you go.
Hey, Unrect, you're going to have to change your audio, mate. It sounds crackly. Do you know what the problem is, Blue Bomb? The problem is Unrect's trying to drive his ship and eat a gay time at the same time. You should know, brother. You should know, Unrect, that you can't have a gay time and do anything else.
Well, it's hard to have a gay time on your own, isn't it? Hey.
It is, mate. And you can't divide your time when you're having a gay time.
G'day, everyone.
Right. What's going on? Crypto Kobe, Mudhog, Baggio,
Day 43, and
Maddie
Blue Bum.
85.
Yep. Do you want to say something?
So the whole idea is now that we're getting sort of like more sort of how do you say integrated Hexicans viewers, we can actually start delving into a bit more advanced game theory. Isn't that right, lads? As opposed to just like, you know, normally we just keep it simple, stupid, for basic noobs, introducing them into Hex.
What's our more advanced game theory? I'm interested to know.
We do this.
You know what I'm actually. You know what I've been debating lately. Obviously, there's the how much of my Hex goes into Pulse, and then how much do I stake, and then how much do I keep liquid. But now you've got the added enticement of encapsulated stakes. Like that could be the best value play of all. Just saving up for a really nice big encapsulated stake and then selling shares in it and only sell like 20% of it or something.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. That is like, I agree with that. 100% agree with that. That could be like one of the plays. And there's, I don't think it's like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be you just do one thing. You know, I actually think that going into Pulse is like makes a lot of sense if you're a Hexican, because Pulse is going to be supporting the Hex contract. You know, it's going to be running on Pulse. So it makes a lot of sense as a Hexican. Hey, mate. Welcome back. So it makes a lot of sense as a Hexican to be invested in Pulse. To me, it makes a lot of sense to be invested in Pulse. That's not financial advice at all. It's just if I want that ecosystem to be good and vibrant, then I should participate in it. You know, yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say the people are obviously sacrificing their Hex to get Pulse. But what do you think is the main, and I know there's no right answer here, but what do you think people's main aim is at the back end of that. So you sacrifice your hex. Are they doing it to get and hold pulse because they see the value in pulse? Or are they doing it for when the network flicks over, a mad rush to try and get more P hex and swap it back in for P hex?
Or provide liquidity or something.
Well,
there's so many variables, Jexa. So many variables. It's almost like impossible to any combination of things could happen, and we don't know. There's like, we know what hexagons are going to do pretty much. We know that they're going to value pulse and they're going to value hex, right? So we've got a fair idea. They might sell some, they might do, but they're going to value P hex. They're going to value pulse, right? Yeah. But what are the other people going to do? That's the question. And I was actually chatting to Unrect about this before the stream. What is going to entice someone from another coin to come in? Someone from, like, I don't know. Let's just name one. What can we say? What's another one out there that's an ERC20?
Link. Link's, I always pick on Link.
Okay, Link. So let's say that they come in, right? And they're like, okay, there's these Link. Unrect, get your shit together, bro. Get your shit together.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I lost a little flip off it, eh? So yeah.
So Pip,
I lost my train of thought.
You were saying, what are they going to go to value?
So
we're talking about
people,
Link. Yep.
So are they going to come in and say, okay, now I've just got this PRC20 Link. It's an airdrop. I'm just going to sell it and get out. Like, that is the mentality when you get an airdrop, right? That is the mentality. Yeah. So we can't assume that people coming in are just going to see all this huge value in pulse, unless, of course, there is some mechanic that we don't know about yet, some game mechanic that we don't know about, that is going to entice them to say, hang on a second, let me just play with this free shit I got for free that's worth almost nothing anyway at this point in time. Let me just see what I can do in this ecosystem. So I'm very interested to know what those game mechanics are, because I believe for sure there's going to be something. There's going to be something out there that entices people to sit and play.
Yeah, and as Richard says, it's the whole galaxy brain stuff. And when you start thinking about all the different plays and what can be done, it can go so many different ways. And I guess one of the main reasons this was done was to give HEX a better platform to run on. So it's more efficient, faster, actually opens up the doors a lot more in terms of onboarding into HEX and how quick we can do that. And no expectations, but if we see things like fiat gateways that come along with this that can assist with getting direct into Pulse, and by virtue of getting direct into Pulse into HEX, that would be pretty magnificent for HEX as well. Got so many people that I could onboard if that was smoother. At the moment, it's still pretty rusty, and it's the guys that are prepared to dig deep and wear that little bit of pain, that onboarding pain, that are making the benefit of it now, which is good. That's been a great opportunity up until now. But if we want to take this to the next level in terms of adoption on HEX, that's got to get a lot easier. So, yeah, I think we don't know all the rules yet, so that's half the problem. Not really a problem, it's just an unknown. And once we understand those rules, then we'll be able to start formulating a few little game plans. But I can tell you now, whatever we're thinking, there's going to be so much more. There'll be things we haven't even thought of. It's a big ecosystem with a lot of moving parts and a lot of opportunity.
Well, just sprouting up all these new kind of flowers, all these new things, hey? Like, stuff is right.
Hey, We don't even know what Richard's got up his sleeve yet. I reckon there's something there. He's a little gem that he maybe hasn't mentioned yet.
I think there's going to be more than just one gem. I think there's going to be a few little, like when he comes out with the all the details, I think we're going to be like, oh, like we're going to, we're going to be like a kid in a candy store. There's going to be so much to consider. And I'm pretty sure that all of our Telegram voice chats are just going to be like us just like going over all the details, trying to work out what the play is, what the best play is. So we're already in it now. Like we're in anticipation of what's going to happen. We're speculating what is going to happen. And we've got some ideas of what could happen, but we've really got no idea of what's going to happen. So that's right. Going to, that's going to be like, there could be a curveball in there that we just, what's this? There could be just something in there that totally hits us for six.
Okay. So what I think a lot of people are thinking, and I don't know whether this is going to be the case, they're thinking PHEX is going to be dirt cheap. And I think we mentioned this last week because I've seen it going on in the chat today. Still, people are still saying, "Oh, I'm going to," and that was what I was saying. Are people swapping their HEX to get some pulse with a view they think they're just going to go in and kill the pig and buy as much PHEX as they can?
I've got a question for you guys. Can we just have a show of hands? Who is just going to dump their PHEX when they get it? Who's going to dump
PHEX?
Yeah, your PHEX. Who's going to dump their PHEX when you got it? Put up your hand. No one, right? So we've got a crew of hexicans who are diamond hands, right? And they're going to get this PRC20 hex token, but they're diamond hands, and all the people who wanted to sell at a lower price in eHex have sold out. So they're the weak hands, and all of us are sitting here not wanting to sell stuff because that's not what we like doing, and we're just gonna. I think that's going to continue. I think people are still not going to sell a whole lot of stuff, and that's why I think the price of PHEX might go up quite rapidly because there's just not going to be that much supply there to buy. And if people
would just be straight price discovery off the bat, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't reckon it will though, because if we're going to balance liquidity,
or to be ratcheting something,
Richard's already said that liquidity pools are going to be balanced. So by virtue of that, does that mean the liquidity pool for PHEX is already, the ratios are already set to a certain level?
Yeah. There's really interesting game theory around what the share price will do, the stakes and the shares will do, and what, like an eHex versus PHEX scenario. Both is good for if you're holding HEX. Both is great if you're staking HEX. Best place to be is staked long. So yeah, why not? Let it happen. What will be will be. Hey,
I guess we don't know, Jexa. We don't know if that. I mean, that could be something that he comes out with, but we don't know. I think there'll be price discovery.
But no, it sounds like it's all gonna start. It's gonna start at the same price. That's the whole point of him going.
That's what I reckon. That's what I think.
It's gonna start at the same price.
It'll start at the same price, yeah, of course, because it is a copy.
Okay.
It's a copy.
Yeah.
So you guys, hang on. You think that PHEX will not have the price discovery? Well, it will anyway, because if it starts at the same price, it will have to have the price discovery.
It could go up. Like it'll be the same.
Yeah.
So we could see then what we see then in that case, if it's balanced between the two, then what you would expect to see is maybe a price reduction of everything,
of eHex. I think people will sell the eHex and they'll.
But if it's getting balanced out, if it's getting arbitrage through, hang on,
on Pulse the stakes are cheap and the end staking is really cheap, so people will be able to they'll be using that chain a lot more, and they'll be.
I agree. I totally agree with that. But do you think people are going to dump their eHex to move? So if PHEX was dirt cheap and you had a chance to sell your eHex, realize that profit, move it across the bridge, get it into PHEX and buy it at a bargain, maybe.
Yeah.
But if
I don't
they-
think
if
that's
they
going to
start off-
happen, man.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think that opportunity is going to be there. I think that's going to be like arbitraged by
Hang on.
the
Like what
system.
happens? But the thing is like we're going into this time where we're expecting the price to pump because as people sacrifice, there's going to be people trying to pump the price. So let's assume that at the end of the sack period, the HEX price has pumped quite a lot. Then we've got this time until the actual fork. That's going to be a very interesting time to see what happens there. And I think just before the fork, like HEX will go up a lot, but then everyone will try to front run after the fork because I think after the fork there will be, if it goes into these astronomical price areas, there's going to be a drop down on the EHEX side, is my guess.
Which you would expect on any normal market.
Yeah, totally. And so, but yeah, absolutely. And so I think that people kind of front running that will also kind of, so that will bring it down a bit.
So,
But I think on the PHEX side, I think everyone's going to be wanting to bloody get that stuff because that's going to be the new lolly that's going to be that's the latest, the newest, the better performing HEX. It's HEX version 2.
Yeah, I don't know. It is that galaxy brain sort of stuff where you're trying to figure out what.
There's all of this, but then there's these encapsulated stakes. Encapsulated stakes could mean so much more in terms of like how you can control taking out money from your the maximized stakes and stuff.
So no one's ever going to do, like once those encapsulated stakes come out, no one's ever going to do a stake less than 15 years. There's just no point. Why would you ever have less T shares? Like, I mean, at least 10 years, right? But why would you ever minimize the amount of T shares you're going to get on a stake when you can trade shares in that stake?
Yeah, and
but that's I disagree.
What you could do is you get like a million HEX 5555, right? And you wait like a couple of years until it gets into to be worth quite a lot of money.
Yeah, when it's in the money.
And then you sell just like 10% of it. And that's a way for you to
can you do that? Can you sell 10%?
Yeah, if you can sell shares.
How?
There's going to be in shares to this thing.
Oh, so you're going to be able to take a T share and splinter it and sell.
Shares, yeah.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure that's.
I missed something here. When did all this come about? What have I missed?
This is what Firebun. I mean, I haven't. I'm just. This is my reading into it. So I'm completely wrong, everyone. But like that's how I read it. It was that you're going to be able to give shares of your share and sell them. So you could just sell like 10%.
No. I think if we've read the same contract, we're talking about the thing where you can be a minter and you can mint a T share.
This is not HEX Bay. This is not the HEX Bay.
No. So I've read Firebun's document on. He's got a process where you're the minter, so you create the stake, but you can delegate where the proceeds of that stake are going to go on completion, so when it matures. But as part of that, you can put in a fee, arbitrary fee, you choose it. But I don't think you can do what you're talking about where you can split it into sell a small 10% here, another 10% there. I think you set the fee at the beginning.
Arbitrum. They're going to do it through Arbitrum. That's what he's. That's
what do you mean? I don't know that. What's Arbitrum?
I don't really know either. But that's what I read in the dev chat that they're going to do.
Apparently, it's been done a great. Conrad Zen did a stream on that. Apparently, recently explaining it. Was that something else?
No, I don't think he did because I think I watched his last stream. I didn't see it. Yeah,
so maybe I've missed something, but I've seen the contract about.
My imagination has gone.
Oh, if it is, that's
where there's a massive debate about whether that adds value or
if you can sell
value.
If you can sell off a portion of it, you can sell off a portion of a share.
Just imagine, Staker app. You open it up. You buy directly fiat to PHEX or Pulse or whatever, or even just buy directly PHEX. You chuck it into an encapsulated stake all on your phone. Like that would be that's just one click. You know what I mean? 1, 2 clicks, 3 clicks.
Yeah, and I think that the Staker boys are doing some pretty awesome work behind the scenes over there. I think they're going to blow the lid off it when
It's going to be things like that which really pump the price.
Yeah.
Because it's at the moment, like even when you explain it now, it's still so many steps. And as soon as you explain it, it's like, yeah, that is a lot of steps. And it's
Yeah,
not difficult. It's not difficult to learn. You can learn it, and it's not that hard. But when people are doing it for the first time, especially when I'm taking people through for the first time, I'm realizing, geez, they would be giving up a long time ago if it was.
All right. So I think there's even more opportunity off the back of that. So gifting stakes, using that is one novel thing where you can mint a stake and give the proceeds to someone on completion. I think that's pretty cool. All right. What do we got going on here? We've got 1 million of us. And who's driving the ship tonight?
This is Galaxy Brain.
This is Galaxy Brain, all right.
This is unwrecked, mate.
We're in. Is that showing? What do you reckon?
Yeah, that looks good. It's like we've got a party now. Everyone's invited.
Can't you do like the staker? I'm trying to do the staker app, but I have to work it out. Yeah. Another screen. Yeah, cool. That's all right. Sorry.
But I think there's also, if you wanted to make this more of a business type opportunity, where if you set up a business that is selling stakes to other, could be institutions or other companies that want to get a piece of this action but don't want all the rigmarole involved of.
Jexa, this is what I was telling you the other day, remember?
Was I listening or not? Was I not listening?
No, we were on that call on Friday at midday.
Yeah.
I mentioned this then, that this was like
that's right. Yeah.
That this was something that a potential option for companies in the space, But you have to go and buy HEX first to do that, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So if you were someone that wanted to offer that service, obviously you've got to go acquire the HEX first. But then if you can package this up as more or less, it could be a set time period, set return in HEX, that is, like a set return that businesses can opt into, or whoever can opt into rather than understanding the whole mechanics, just say, I just want one share, one stake that's going to last 2 years. I know that we're going to give you this much money. We're committing for 2 years, and we know it's speculative, but we can get a piece of this action. I think there's a real opportunity there for any savvy guys that are early to set things like that up.
Yeah, I agree. There's stuff that can be built on HEX that above and beyond this that I think that we probably haven't even considered yet. Yep. But so Unwrecked, what's been going on, mate? What's been going on in your world?
Mate, I've just been just still working on the operational OPSEC and that. I've got got a couple of these Trezors over here, these little guys. I've got a couple of those, and I've got a Model T, so I'm basically back to where I started. I'm trying to get the between Apple and Mac, so Apple, Mac, and PC thing sorted, and then trying to work on whether it's worth using an Android as well, like a Chromebook or with a Trezor. So I'd be interested to ask Jexa or anyone who knows that whether, and I think I've seen it sort of as a key point, that you can use a Trezor with a Android or a phone. You can do your wallet with a hardware device into a phone using USB-C to USB-C. Would that be a correct statement?
With Trezor, I've got to be honest, I've never tried it with the Trezor. I don't do much on my phone related to crypto. I'm not a big fan of it, but that's just me personally. I know the Ledger you can do it with.
Yep.
Trezor, not sure. Have you been playing with that Unwrecked? You can do that, or you just...
I've read it somewhere, but I haven't done it myself personally. No, I'm flat out trying to work out, set this up with a on a PC with a Chrome MetaMask. I think, I haven't. You know what I mean? Like, just set them all up and do it the right way.
Bit of a public service announcement as well. Today in one of the chats, seen someone looks like they've had a SIM swap attack performed against them. So where someone's managed to convince the phone company to transfer their SIM or their number to a new SIM. So just a bit of a heads up, if on any exchanges you have a backup, so hopefully you should have 2FA enabled on any exchange account you've got. If you haven't, you better go do that. But you might also want to disable the backup using SMS as a backup for restoring, getting into accounts. So that way if someone does a SIM swap, they can't actually get a one-time password sent to your phone. They have to actually have the proper 2FA device.
So that's like Google Authenticator, or I think there's a Microsoft one as well.
There's a billion of them, Authy and all that. But so use one of those. Don't rely on the SMS feature of your phone. It's basically what it boils down to. So switch that feature off on any exchange accounts. Speaking
of security stuff, did anyone see that tweet from Richard Hart about the print nightmare attack? So it's a vulnerability on a potential vulnerability on Windows 10 machines. So the print spooler, like you need to you can disable the print spooler to, but that just means you can't really print. You know,
I think it was more about disabling the sharing. I think was the proper fix was don't let other people share your spooler. Yeah.
But so that stuff's happening all the time. And there was a $92 million Bitcoin ransom. Did you see that?
Didn't see that one. No.
92
million.
$92 million Bitcoin ransom for a company. I think it was a security company, actually. I think it's like a cyber security company. Actually, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Wrong.
It's kind of funny if it is.
Yeah.
I guess they're going out of business then.
That's sell that stock.
David Morales, share women, not tech.
Very good. What else has been going on, guys? What have we got?
This waiting game, hey guys. It's just this like we're coiled springs. We're like these springs that are just like waiting, and we're about to be released. And like
I can tell you now, it's going to happen in the next 3 days. I know it for a fact.
because
I'm going away for 3 days.
Exactly. It's just like whatever plans you make, it's going to be you're going to stuff up, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. I figure I'll go on a holiday, and if I have to turn around and come home, I'll turn around and come home.
He'll give us a few days at least to look over stuff before you.
Well, that's what I figure. You at least got to get 24 hours to understand the rules of the game.
Yeah.
So you think I was thinking about it. You pretty convinced we're going for the shorter window?
Sounds
2 weeks or so.
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
I reckon it's better.
Oh yeah, I don't need a month.
No.
Let's get this up and done with. Especially if it's so close to,
and also if you don't know about it yet, it's not like on your radar, then you don't deserve to get the good rate of getting it in the launch phase. Like simple as that. That's the way I see it. Like, it's been out in the crypto space for how long? A good few months now.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Pulse, then you're paying attention to the wrong things.
I don't even think I'm not actually concerned about attracting eyeballs to it. Like you say, I don't think 2 weeks or a month is going to make a hell of a lot of difference in terms of people coming in. The guys that come in at the end will be the stragglers anyway. But I think it gives more confidence for people to go in harder without having to think, I've got to hold back a little bit because this is going to run out for a month and might have to DCA and all this other.
And if it's shorter, that means that the curve, the percentage is going to be more per day. So it's going to be more of an incentive to get in earlier because every day that you miss, it's going to ratchet up that extra amount of percentage.
So I hope we keep the same.
Talk about HEX. Can we talk about HEX then? like this question about, given that it's tax time and all, about minting of reward. You know, when you mint your own coins out of the inflation, that's interest. We call it an APY, but that's not interest. That's printing inflation. You're saying that I'm incorrect? Minting HEX inflation.
I'm saying you're incorrect.
Not technically interest. It's not technically interest. You're saying I'm incorrect.
I'm going to go on the record and say, unrect, you are incorrect. That if you mint, how dare you?
I got that from a very good authority from a Hexagon OG.
Okay.
Do you think I made that up? No.
No. What I'm saying is that a couple of things matter. A, the jurisdiction that you're in, the tax jurisdiction that you're in. So I'm just going to talk. This is an Aussie stream. I'm going to talk from the perspective of the Aussie tax system, right? In the Aussie tax system, if you stake, they're going to see any extra coins you get at the end of that stake as interest. They're going to view that as interest, and that's going to be taxable income. Right? So it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same as a term deposit. If you lock up your money for a year, and then at the end of that year you get $1,000 in interest, that interest is going to be added to your taxable income. I should say less than a year.
You can still dress a little bit. You can still dress a little bit up there and take it as inflation and just. Oh no, you can't because it's on the blockchain. But they only go off what's on the exchange, so they're relying on you to report correct numbers in the spirit of what the law said.
They're not going to check you out every single time. But unrect, if you get audited, they're going to check it out, mate. Right? Yeah, so sure. if you get audited, they're going to go back and check all of that shit. So you better have done it right, otherwise, you know.
Hey mate, you know I did a 30th of June snapshot, mate. All of my accounts. There you go, bang. So
you better be snapping on the rubber gloves if you get an audit.
Don't worry about that. All my numbers line up, and they all go up and to the right. Just like the HEX chart. I want to show you the HEX chart, but every time
I just want to.
It goes.
Jexa, are we on the same page? Like, do you agree with what I said there?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I'm happy to be open-minded and see what the rules bring us and see how the guidelines can be interpreted. But I think you'd be pushing the limits if you said it wasn't income. But what we did have an interesting chat about.
Well, is it a capital gain tax? Is it capital? Is a percentage of what you were assigned to capital gains and what you were assigned to income then? So there's a split.
Okay, so all right. So without, I don't want to turn this into a full tax talk because I think A, we're not qualified, and B, it'll get boring as batshit. But
who's qualified? At what?
Yeah. No, that's it. No one's qualified.
I've got qualifications. I've got a list.
Yeah,
I'm full of them.
The reality is we're probably the most qualified to know what HEX is, but how that fits into the traditional system is another story. But what we were talking about was, can you, when you stake and you literally destroy the HEX, can that be put down as a capital loss?
We were having this discussion the other day. Yeah.
So if that's a capital loss,
Being there, done that because I invested in whatever I invested in last financial year and I made no money out of it.
No, but the act of burning your coins when you stake them could be seen as a capital loss. You're burning the capital; it's gone. But the double-edged sword to that is when you end stake, then you get a capital gain, and it's actually worse because if HEX gone up in value, you get a double whammy. So. But then again, if you quickly restake it,
hang on,
then you get a capital loss. So it depends how you want to play the game.
But the capital gain, so in other words, if you hold, so then are you saying that you've got to hold it liquid for 12 months before you can get the 15% off the capital gain or loss?
No. Well, that's actually the worst thing as well. So if you're treating every time you stake, if you're treating it as a capital loss, and then you unstake and that becomes a capital gain, then you'd have to hold that for 12 months to get any discounts. But honestly, I don't want to get into the whole tax conversation because it's going to go on forever.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, I think
Hey,
you've got there's a fair passage, there's a play, and I think there is you just got to
hey, Unwrecked.
assess his individual circumstances.
Someone in the chat has said when Hex goes to $10, one of us should reboot the Flying Doctors. I just if Hex goes to $10, we're not going to reboot the Flying Doctors. We're going to reboot the number 96. That's what we're going to reboot. I don't know if you guys know the number 96.
No, what's that?
No? You don't know the number. You should know. You guys, you should know.
I thought the first one was good. Flying Doctors. I didn't even realise the Flying Doctor services are shut down.
The number 96 was like this raunchy Australian TV show. From back in the
old one.
yeah, no, it's an old one, man.
Black and white style, was it?
Is that right?
Yeah. You guys don't know that. I'm surprised.
Or something, is it?
I've heard of it, but I can't. I never watched it. It was never on when I was a kid. I don't think. It's like really.
Flying Doctors.
You look like a wiggle. He's saying you look like a wiggle there, day 43, with your skivvy on. What's going on there? That's it. They're giving you sledging you, mate, in the chat.
I can mate. I feel like a wiggle. Mate, with 3 kids, mate, I feel like a wiggle with the dancing and messing about that I do every evening. So, it's not too far from the truth, actually.
Just to clarify what T-Bird is saying to you about CSV downloading from the exchange, don't download the CSV from your MetaMask in any shape or form. I wouldn't, when it allows you the option, you could do it for a dummy account. No worries. There you go. And then under that, you have your operational security level where you've got your hardware device over the top of your digital assets, correct? And you hold the private keys for those. Isn't that right, gentlemen?
That is actually correct. I'm not sure what that's got to do with CSVs, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, just be careful what you leave on your computers, because I had 2 computers stolen off me, and there was stuff on there that was business related, that was personal, that was all different things that is now out in the wild. So
make sure they're encrypted. Make sure they're
bit locked. They're bit locked. So there's no way. Windows encryption is pretty good, isn't it? Really. Some people.
I think anything. Don't know.
Anything still. It depends where you go.
You can do it with Linux, mate. You can do it with a free version of Linux. You don't need Windows, but anyway.
Right.
Okay, Rex. So, given what you just went through, what would you do different?
If I was starting out again, the scaling in the dollar cost averaging works no matter what the market does. Just ignore all the noise and stuff. Yes, go straight for the best coin to me, which is HEX, and then you just swap you got to go on register for an exchange. But where I would do differently would be my staking. Like the staking, I did just in the MetaMask the way it was, and that was fine, just the way it was shown on the hex.win or the hex.com website from Richard Hart, and that's all just ticking along beautifully, hasn't stopped. And the only difference would be that I would have set up a hardware wallet to start with on that account instead of having to perform triage. That's the only thing I would do different. And maybe now that the price has appreciated so much, do some more like monthly staking ladders perhaps instead of like quarterly, because I was just like taking pot shots. It was just like sending it out there, Hail Marys all the time to start with, early, long, big. Yeah.
Do you know what I've noticed throughout this whole time though is I too set up a heap of monthlies. Then I've done a whole range of different things. I've got yearlies, quarterlies, monthlies, and at one point in time I thought that was the right thing to do with the monthlies, and then Ethereum fees went through the roof. HEX the price was going up pretty well, but the fees were sort of going heavily against you, where it was going to make it hard to end all these monthlies. And I thought, oh shit, I've screwed this up. But then Pulse has come out of left field, and now all those monthlies are going to get transported across onto Pulse chain, and that actually looks like it's going to be a pretty good play again. So I guess you can never say never in HEX, and you think you may think that you've cocked something up, or you may think you might have not have an optimal, but things can change pretty quickly. And
also, it's
who knows?
been really cheap at the moment to end the stakes. I ended a stake for $13 or $17 or something the other day.
Yep. Well, all it took was for all of crypto to crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, what's going on outside in the rest of crypto, Jexer? And
it was just
what's
red.
you guys been looking at?
Yesterday it was just red everywhere, and just was green. I think
I got to be honest. I've lost a lot of interest in a lot of other things. So.
It's like, the only game in town is HEX.
That is so true.
Yeah, fully, man. The stuff that's happening in the HEX ecosystem at the moment is just there's so much coming.
So you've already got like one of the best performing assets. We all love it. The code's good, rock solid. Is the perfect asset in terms of a productive asset. It's just the thing you want. And I don't think anyone foresaw that we're going to be dealing with Pulse Chain and the opportunities that have sort of been put in our feet with that one as well. So, yeah, bring it on, I say. It's
let alone encapsulate.
The gift that keeps giving. The gift that keeps giving, isn't it?
It is. Double your HEX. It's awesome. Yeah. So I just didn't see any of that coming, and it's just I was happy. You would have been a hard pill to swallow with all the fees and everything on ETH, but it still was looking good, and I was still pretty happy with it. But this is just amazing, really.
Let's just do a quick shout out to everyone out there, and I just want to highlight, if you guys haven't seen Savage Moments by Richard Hart, and it's by clips from the heart out there on YouTube. Get a load of that. I reckon that's a friendly reminder of where we've come from and where we are now is worlds apart. So there you go. It's awesome, isn't it?
Have you guys seen it? The Savage Moments.
Savage Moments.
Was that the main one with the lawyers? Is that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's one with there's one with the lawyer. Well, 3 with the lawyers. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. But then there's also one with Peter McCormack. Savage Moments.
These are the ones that you did. 43.
They're on Clips from the Heart. They're on the Clips from the Heart channel.
Yeah. So anyway, there's also some. I mean, the Discourse Syndicate Network. You know, they've brought us on with them, and they're putting out some great stuff and some really interesting insights. I try to get over to all the HEX streamers and that during the week, get bits and pieces of the story so far. And HEX, it's a great one, isn't it? It's great. There's lots of great stories going around.
Talking about great stories, we've got someone here on stream that's been working pretty hard for a while. He's had a newborn under his wing. He's been doing a lot in the community with HEX, and he had a glass of champagne on stream last week, and he wouldn't tell us why he had that glass of champagne, but there was a reason for it. And Day 43 just finished his, was it an Masters in Information Security?
Yeah.
MIS, yep. So he finished his Masters with, and not only did he finish it in style, but he finished it with a high distinction average, mate. So well done. Pretty clever cooking.
Very good. Wow.
Thanks, mate.
So that's the caliber of people we've got in the community. So congrats, mate. That's I know how hard that would have been.
It's a big achievement, man.
And
Thanks.
it's really good.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
He didn't want to blow his own trumpet, but that's worth congratulating him over, mate. That was really good effort.
Yeah, it sounded hard too.
Yeah. It was. It wasn't easy in the last couple of months, but we got through. We could see, when you can see the finish line. That's all I needed. I could smell. I was running on. I could smell the finish line, man. I was running on fumes. So we got it done.
No, well done, buddy. You'll have a whole lot more time to yourself now, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just nice not to have that. Oh, I've got to read. I've got to read 200 pages this week. Of whatever. It's nice not to have that responsibility anymore. Can focus on the fun stuff, like, for example, I've been messing around with Ethereum nodes and being able to point MetaMask to the local host and all that sort of stuff. What I like about what this community, what's happened as a result of this community. It's maintained my interest in all this stuff, and it's meant that I'm just wanting to keep learning about, just go dig deeper about like what you can do, like from a security perspective. So, rather than, let's say using MetaMask and it's pointing to like some server somewhere else, or you can actually point it to your local, like a local instance of the blockchain. So that's interesting stuff, just something that people can something that people can think about. If you're, just remember you're early in HEX. So, and you're also early in crypto. I mean, let's be honest, you're in crypto in the first like 10, 12 years of crypto. And, a lot of this stuff that you can do now has only been around for like the last 3 or 4 years, like all this stuff like Uniswap and, so look, I just think you got to keep learning. Don't rest on your laurels just because maybe you're not technically minded. Doesn't mean you can't learn about it. Everything you need is on YouTube and on the internet, like, GitHub, Medium article, like there's everything you need is out there. You don't need to go to uni to learn about it. I certainly didn't learn anything about crypto while I was at uni. So, just use your time and interest in HEX to learn more about this stuff, because, in a few years' time, we're going to be the ones who are teaching the next generation of people who are getting into it. We're going to need to teach them because someone's going to need to be able to explain stuff to them.
Yep, I agree. What the stuff we're playing with HEX, we are on the leading edge of this space. HEX has forced us to be on the leading edge because if we're not on exchanges and we're only listed on decentralized exchanges, that's all new. That was literally a year ago that didn't exist. Like no one was transacting. Maybe it's been a year now. Time's sort of flown. But Uniswap pretty much launched when
version 2.
HEX,
version 2 was only like a year ago. Like version 1 before.
Version 1 was just when HEX was launching, wasn't it?
It was a bit before, but no one was using it. Like HEX is what brought all the volume to Uniswap, and then they did release version 2, and now we're on version 3.
And it ramped up with the MetaMask wallets as well. Like the MetaMask wallets really ramped up, and HEX didn't get any recognition for that early on either. And there was a lot of the adoption. Look at the staker adoption. In the app itself.
I'll give you a bit of perspective. So I've got a friend who is big in Cardano, runs a validating node, so he knows a little bit about stuff. And I said, mate, just check out HEX. And first thing, obviously, we've got the initial pushback. Oh, I've seen this, I've heard this. Then we watched the price go up 4x, and I said, mate, have a look at HEX again. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm going to check it out. And then the last time we caught up he goes, oh, I just can't buy it. It's all too hard. It's on this Uniswap thing, and I don't know how to use that. This is a guy that's in crypto running validator nodes and can't figure that out. So that's how far ahead Hexicans are in terms of the technology.
Hey, day 43, just on that, what you said about those validator nodes and testing like nodes and things on Ethereum, are you going to become one of the validators on Pulse Chain? Is that where you going to mine your own? You're going to be a miner or something, or?
No. This is just to know, just to have the knowledge of how to do it and just feel comfortable with it. Just like, it's like anything, just with hardware wallets or whatever, when you first use them, you're like really like, oh, what's, making sure you do everything. And then once you've used them for like a couple of years, you're like, it's just easy, right? Yeah. So it's just a matter of like, for me, it's just a matter of getting comfortable with it and just working, like going through it, syncing the blockchain, doing all of that, getting used to I don't code, so getting used to like the command line side of things when it comes to Geth and all that sort of stuff. And
hey guys, I think there was just a little bit of confusion in I've just been reading the chats. Inviting Freedom was asking about because there are some rumors that.
Oh, so no question.
Yeah, you put up the question, and he or she was was asking about because there's a rumor that Gnosis Wallet was going to do an airdrop, and if so, everyone with the Staker app, because everyone with the Staker app has a Gnosis Wallet, and they were just asking whether it was like, we don't know anything about that. That's a complete.
It's exactly the same as if you've got.
Just need to have the wallet. We don't know if you would. We don't even know if there's an airdrop first of all, and if there is a, we don't know what you would need to do.
Or HEX in there, or ETH, or
could be anything.
SDC. Any of those three currencies go on a Gnosis Safe Wallet on Staker.
Well, any ERC20 does, yeah.
What, really, on Staker?
No, on Staker, no. Like they won't show up in Staker.
But you can send it to.
It won't show up.
No, it won't show up. You're right, but you can send it to. Like, you can actually just look at your Gnosis Wallet on Etherscan as well. It's just there, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure if you did send something there, there's probably a way to get it back. You know, you just. I don't know enough about Gnosis Safe. Actually, that's something I really have to look into. I really have to look into
that. That'd be where it'd be worth spending some time, because I think that is going to play a big part in the crypto world.
Well, you know what's something else I have to look at some stage, but you know, I'll add it to the list of 10,000 other things I have to look at. Is that thing you sent me, Jexa, with the Super Shamir. Oh man, I just looked, dude. I looked at that message. I'm just like, fucking too hard. Like straight away, I was just like,
no. So I actually, because I was just remapping out all of my security stuff and seeing what can and can't be done and what's viable. And Super Shamir that's next level. That's really if you've got a company with departments where you want to split control between departments and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think that's a bit of overkill and just complicating your life for no good gain. And I think that's the big thing. I know I always bang on about security all the time, but that's my gig. That's what I like. And I think it always comes down to this spectrum where on one end you've got convenience, on the other end you've got super secure, and you've got to find where you sit along that spectrum of two can. If it's really convenient, that probably means it's not secure. But if it's super secure, it probably means that you're not going to have fun using it, and you probably won't take the security seriously if it's too hard to use. So you just got to find that trade-off and that balance. So you can have all your air-gapped machines and whatever, but if you've got to end stakes and things like that, you just got to think about for the average person, how easy is that going to be to do? So it's just finding that sweet spot, I guess, what suits you.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think that you've got to push yourself to learn more. I really think that if you're in crypto and you're not about to kick the bucket, it's worth your while just spending the time trying to learn more about the stuff. Don't go too far. You don't want to spread you don't want to spread yourself too thin when it comes to this stuff, because then you might not get any of it right. But you focus on something and then just try and learn how to do it properly,
Yeah. And what I've found is you build on it each time. So set your security up proportionate to what you're trying to protect. But do it in such a way that you've got the ability to improve it incrementally as what you're trying to protect grows in value. So the base things like getting your seed words down, that's your bread and butter stuff. And if you're doing Shamir or even it's just a single seed word, is get that buttoned up really well, know how you're storing that, and then you can start to do all the fancy things about hardening machines and adding in all other fancy features on how you're going to store things and control things, and in the case of something going wrong, how you're going to grant access to it. But just start off with the basics, and you'll get more advanced as you move on. The tricky thing with HEX is we're chucking things out there for a long time, for 15 years, and these things are going to get pretty valuable. So don't underestimate, don't underplay your security too early, thinking it's not worth bugger all, so therefore I'm only going to do this. I'm going to keep it really simple. You may have to go that.
You can look at, there's a lot of there's a lot of money floating around inside the HEX ecosystem in the staking class. I mean, even the squid's like $500,000, $1 million.
Yeah.
Like that's like 9,000 squids.
But where
That's a lot of
HEX
dollars.
is very different to everything else because most other things aren't hard locked. So if you make a error with Bitcoin or whatever, you can course correct
it's
and
the
move
staking.
it.
It's the locking. Yeah, it's the
The
locking.
staking
of the,
is
keeps you means you can't move it, and if you're worried about attack vectors or if you're worried about compromised accounts or something like that. You know what I mean?
Don't. Long and the short is don't half-ass your security because you think you've only got a small amount of HEX. Take that initial part seriously about your seeds and things like that. You can always bolster your operating environment later on, but your seeds and things, you get one crack at that initially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
that's
advice.
right.
That's right. But that's good advice. So well, we did have a bit of an agenda to talk about. We were going to sort of
Did we stick to it? Oh. The person with the agenda's just gone.
He rug pulled. Hang on. I think the agenda is in.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Let me see.
All right. Is he coming back on? All right. So let's have a look. Let's see what we've covered tax time. That went really well. I think we solved all the world's problems with tax. Yeah. Let's just say that don't take tax advice from us.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't take tax advice from us.
I've been using this new Aurochs thing to look at the HEX price, the getaurochs.com.
Can you show it up on the screen?
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I can. Hang on.
So what do we learn? What do we learn, folks? Anything?
Do you know what I learned? I learned that your stable table doesn't work because you've dropped your laptop twice, mate. That's what I learned.
I do apologise for the technical issues. It wouldn't be the same without them. I somehow fear I'm getting a bit of a bad name for my lack of. It's certainly a little bit sort of makeshift and improvised at the moment. But yeah,
that's all right, mate.
What are we looking at here, Bluey?
Giving you some shit.
This is Aurochs. Like if you go to web.aurochs.com.
Aurochs, how's that spelled? AAU
ROX.
Oh, yeah.
And and you can just look up like the different kind of HEX pairs you want to like look at, and
pulling it from uni. Oh yeah, from Uniswap, yeah.
Yeah, and you've got these interesting indicators. I think every time this is called the Aurochs indicator, and I don't know. I don't really know much about it.
That's a trading. That's a trading view, like API.
Yeah, it's got a few extra things that you don't get on trading view. I think if you're into that, like a few indicators, like you where are they? I forget.
So this is HEX USDC. What are we sitting on? 8.3 cents. 8.3 US.
Aurochs indicators. And I don't know. You can look through that kind of stuff. It's interesting. It's got a bit more than trading view. There was this massive wick down. Hey, we were just like fully climbing nicely. Then what happened here? That half hour just went.
Someone got a new Lambo.
That's it. That was like I think that was like $1 million being cashed out. That one.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
Like $1.2 million. Bang. And climbing back up nicely now. You want to look at it a daily or something?
There's a lot of impatient people, isn't there? Like in the way they sell, like just massive market sells like that.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
No
limit.
Was that like emergency end stake as well? Apparently.
Oh, was it?
Earthlink. Apparently, that's what it says in the chat. It says, look, emergency end stake as well. So as you say,
Kidding.
impatience.
So they merged
I
the end stake and then sold. Is that what they're saying?
Oh,
yeah,
well, let's
sold
get the public
24
address.
million.
That's why I don't know. I'll have a look on.
Do we-
Staker and see if I can find the address.
Do we have that address?
I looked at the scan. They still had 19 million hex ready to go as well. I think liquid.
Any stakes? What about stakes?
I didn't look.
So was it a hack or someone's just
No.
retarded?
It looked like it looked like someone who does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right.
And it's a contract. It could be like a bot kind of thing or something. I don't know.
Motley Investors saying someone sold like 24 million hex. 24 million hex.
And that's all that done? Was that just that candle there?
That sounds
pretty resilient, I reckon.
We're not very well researched, guys.
No. Well, that only happened a few hours ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We should probably do more research.
24 million hex would be $1.9 million. So it might be a little bit less. If it was only 1.2 mil,
it's a couple of cells.
it was a couple of cells, was it? Okay.
The 10. Let's do the 2 minute. No. Yeah, it looks like a couple of cells.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but that's still like the damage that done was
bugger all.
Very minor.
Like it got down to was like 0.81, which is what a lot of people are kind of saying it will probably go down to before it goes back up.
We're still sitting in a nice uptrend. Like we broke out of that bull flag. We're hitting all the key targets we need to keep pushing up stronger. Let these guys sell out, and when we get to the all-time highs again, we can push off.
Yeah, it feels like it's just doing what HEX always does, which is kind of like go up, then go sideways, and just has a bit of upwards pressure as it goes sideways, and then at some point it just kind of it breaks up to another level.
And the longer we go and the further we go along, the less supply there's going to be, just the less and less, because people are going to keep locking. And I believe that in the short term, at least in the next few years, we're just not going to see that much out there. There's not going to be that much out there because people want to stake and get more hex. Oh, hang on. Someone's just put the address in there. Can you grab that unwrecked? Can we do a bit of
I can grab it.
A bit of analysis.
Yeah. You won't have to grab it because if I do it, will say show. Am I able to show that? I suppose it's public. But it won't. Yeah, I can't grab it from the chat other than that.
I'll do it, mate.
Hang on.
I'll do it. That's all right. I'll do it.
You got it?
Yeah,
cool.
I'll get it, mate.
Well, that's the great thing about the blockchain. That's the great thing about HEX. It's the most transparent and honest crypto in all of the world. It's the best to be.
You know what's going to be interesting is like when the actual announcement happens. Like, do you think the price will pump straight after the announcement of the sacrifice stage happens?
Oh, they'll be pumping all right. They'll be selling the rips as well.
I don't know. I think
there's definitely been some accumulation happening by larger wallets. So, like at the moment, it doesn't make sense to do massive buys. Like if you're sitting on the sidelines and you want to come into HEX to go to the sacrifice chamber, it doesn't make sense to do your load too early.
Yeah.
Like you got to inch in, and then when you're ready, if you want to pump the price, you hit it hard.
Those first 3 days.
Yeah, from Jexa, don't do your load too early.
It is getting up to about that time, isn't it, gentlemen? Like, you know, someone mentioned before, I thought, what's he talking about? Sacrifice phase or hitting the sack? I don't know because it is late. You know,
mate, we've only been on for an hour and 4 minutes. We still got
ages.
Hey, I'm going to share my screen. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on a second.
So this is that address?
Yeah, this is that. Hang on a second. All right. So I was going to, it hasn't got any stakes. That address has 0 stakes. Let me just share my screen.
And how many liquid is it holding?
I'll bring it up so you guys can see it.
Yep. Cool.
There we go. So yeah, so there's only
it looks like
0.06. There's only $152 worth of ETH in there, but it's sitting on 19 million hex.
Yeah.
And it's looking like we've got a seller here. Let's have a look at the ERC20s.
So when you jump, you see some odd transactions where the funds flow in and out. So USD in and out, same value. And when you go trace that address, whether it's coming from, it looks like a bot or something, or because they're trading a lot of Shiba Inu and.
It's giving it to some. It's putting the USD into some other kind of thing, which is a contract.
Yeah. So there's a heap of Shiba. What's that other one? And another one, Akita Inu, whatever that is. Bloody hell.
So it's probably an ARB bot, hey? But that's weird that it sells. Oh, who knows what it is, hey? Oh,
It's a shit trading bot. It's got Dodge Killer. I don't even know what that is called. Dodge Killer. The ticker's leash. What is this shit? I've never even heard of that. Man.
It's a DGen. We found ourselves
full on.
Who's going to be selling?
Yeah.
So how much did he sell? How much did he sell in that time? That 1.2 million? Was that like
he sold
how much hex?
1.7 million worth of hex.
Uh-huh.
So he sent it to this address, which I assume is some sort of
But that wasn't the 1.2 million USD. So
the 21 million.
Oh, he did that as well, did he?
He sent it out. So did he sell it or did he send it out? I don't know.
It's coming from 6F.
This is where he sent it to. So this looks like some sort of contract
swapping. Saying it's he sold 14.2 million.
Uniswap, okay, 14.2 million
hex.
Yeah. So it looks like he's pushing through some sort of bot or something.
We got MetaMask. So this is like, there's only 70. This is a very recent.
Did he sell it in parts, Earthling, or did he sell it in one foul swoop? God, that's a lot to sell at once, isn't it?
Yeah. Hang on, let me just look at this one.
I wonder what the slippage. I wonder how much he lost on slippage on such a big sell.
But there's a lot in and out as well. So it's not just. It's just there must be some sort of bot that's trading it in and out. There's a lot of ins as well.
That one.
Oh, that was 93 days ago. Sorry, no, that was a while back.
Yeah,
there's not that much going on here on this one.
There's not.
The other one I was looking at, that's where he sent it. So I think that's a contract because there's Matic, there's USDC, there's Hex, there's Shiba Inu, there's Akita Inu. There's all and that's like 2 minutes. So I think this is like an exchange contract here that he sent it to, but this is his address. And we can see that 3 days ago, he did this transaction. And that was a transaction. Transaction fee cost him $32.
Nothing, hey?
$30. $30 US it cost him.
To do all of that.
Yeah. And let me see if he's like anything that got staked here at all. Has there ever been anything staked?
Yeah, I mean, I saw some sent to the contract from memory.
Was it this one?
Yeah, those ones.
That one here is this is an unstake. So where's the stake? Let me see if I can find the stake, because then we'll be able to see what was in there.
Can't you just pop his address in hexinfo.io?
But it wouldn't be in there anymore if the stake had ended.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying.
So...
yeah, that gets to a point where we need to know more about how all this kind of... how these bots work and how these contracts work to be able to read all of this kind of stuff.
I don't think this address is a bot, this one here.
Just a person, huh?
Yeah, because like in the last 3 days, they've just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 transactions in the last 3 days. That doesn't seem like
So
a bot to me. That's a very sort of they knew
They're an
what
OG.
they were wanting.
They've been in since pretty much day one. Yep, since day one, they've participated in the AA. They got 31 million HEX.
Oh, so they
had 2 entries, 5 million HEX on day. That was on the 17th of the 12th, and then 31 million on the 19th. So they're day one.
good, and then it's making a killing, and then it's cashing out now.
Yeah. That wouldn't be some bad returns.
That's a Bitcoin free claimer.
Yeah, that's like
Because
That's
that would have been. Is that right? No, because you wouldn't have got that. Oh, that must have been a massive claim, though.
Yeah.
Bitcoin address claim right here on this transaction.
Oh, maybe it's just that transaction.
So how many did he get? He got 10,000, 22,000, and 5,000. So he's got one. How many? He's got 1.2 because this was very early on. So he had about almost 4, just under 4 Bitcoin.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but so he has actually. It looks like he's brought a lot as well. Or gone in the AA early.
Yeah.
So FOMO day one.
So he entered 77 ETH into the lobby on the 19th of April. 77 ETH in the lobby. Let's have a look at this transaction. And then he's got a start stake here. So we'll check out that transaction as well, hey? So he, at the time, that was $13,886 worth of Ether that he put in. Now it's $178,000, but let's forget about $178,000. Let's just look at the Ether and see what did he do here? Oh, he just did a small stake. All right, strike that. Anyway, mate, I could just look at this for hours, so let's not.
Yeah, but so someone's obviously they've done well out of it.
Yeah,
good on them. They were in early and they've cashed out a bit.
Yeah,
good on them.
Can't keep selling. That's all. They can only sell once.
That is true.
good point.
But he's put a lot of Ether in. Like
After the fork, will be able to sell twice.
And day 43, you've just taught me something about Etherscan I didn't know you could do, about the current value and the historic value.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's helpful stuff, man. That is.
That's clever.
What else? Here on the 1st of the 1st, 2021, he sent 163 Ether to this address. No, to a different address. So what did he cash out? Did he?
You'd think he'd wait a few months.
No, but that's when we had that high. Remember? New Year's?
What I'm saying is now, cashing out 1.2 million now. It's like you just have to wait a few months and you get double.
Yeah, we've seen people do it a few times before, though. There was just before we had our big pump, there was that other guy that sold out. Came into the chat, CM, I think it was telling everyone how he was dumping everything. A couple of months later, it was blasting through the roof. So
people have their realities, definitely.
And look, I think this is a good comment that Baseline's put in here. People are taking profits. The system is working.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All good.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's hey, look, that's what this system's for. If you want to take profits now, take profits now. That's what you do. But if you stake, then you're going to get more HEX, aren't you? Down the track.
Yep. Everyone's got their price.
That's it. That is it.
What I do,
for how to get out, like getting back into fiat. Like some people are doing that thing where they're just, I'm just going to take 1.2 mil right now. Other people are going to like scrape away a little bit, you know what I mean, and just as much as they need. And other people are.
Do you do you think it's a confidence thing? Like for me, I sit there and when you really look at the system and you go, okay, I can see long term how this is going to work, and everyone knows that, like we all talk about this, that you just got to scrape the interest off and you'll do really well. But I don't think we really truly understand what that is going to mean in a year from now in terms of how much that scraping that interest is going to actually be worth, and the fact that you don't actually have to sell down your principal. Really, like how much money do you need to live a good life? Like if you've got some good stakes out there, some nice juicy stakes, they're going to be worth a lot, and you don't need to sell the golden goose to make this thing work. And that is the beauty of the system. Is
how much do you reckon? $2,000 a week? I reckon you could live pretty well on $2,000 a week.
Yeah. Well, that would be a normal, comfortable life. But when I'm saying, like, you could live like an absolute king as well, with like people that are in HEX now and are staking now, and in 3 or 4 years' time, they won't be living off $2,000 a week.
No.
Yeah, but like, you know,
a lot more. Yeah.
Some of those stakes are worth a lot of money now, aren't they? You know?
Yeah.
The T-shares,
right.
the value of the T-shares, like it's over $1,500 per T-share now. American.
Yeah.
You know,
and I'll tell you a little story. I got a little complacent, and recently it was a big wake-up call for me. Is back when ETH fees were really high, and the price of HEX was nowhere near what it was now. When I looked across and I weighed up and said, I'm not going to worry about staking that. It's not worth it. Like financially, it doesn't seem like it's really worth the effort of staking it. And by the time you pay your fees and yada yada, it's not worth it. In hindsight now, all those little bits of HEX that I would have been picking up along there, and I would have been losing ETH for the fees and things like that. But all that trail of HEX that I would have picked up would have just been worth so much more now. And now, a few months later, now that HEX is at a particular price, I was still in the mindset of, no, just don't worry about staking that little bit. It's not worth it. And then I sat down the other day and I worked through and I went, okay, well, let's add up what this actually generates if you just go and stake it. Even if it's for 30 days, you just stake it. And it actually adds up to quite a lot. And that's HEX at its current price. So if you project that out another year or so, and all this HEX that you could be collecting, which may not seem like much now for people that have come in, telling you now that will grow really quickly, a lot faster than what you realise. So don't get complacent. Like if you just got lazy HEX laying around.
Let's do some quick maths, man.
Let's do some numbers.
Okay, so if we're just going to say, okay, on like HEX, if you stake long, is APY is 40%, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you stake short, then that's a third of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I work on about 12 to 13% per annum.
Right. So let's just say 13%, right? And then we can divide 13. So that's like a short stake. Then we can divide 13% by, let's say 4. So a 3-month stake is still going to return you 3.25%, right? Mm-hmm. That's better than a year's worth of interest on any bank CD.
Yep.
You know,
and that's not accounting for any price appreciation.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's what really multiplies it.
So you're going to get more interest in HEX in 3 months than you're going to get in
probably in 2 years of.
Because you're not going to get 3.25% term deposit. You're not going to get
1.5.
Yeah. So that's pretty compelling. That alone, that alone is compelling. But if you look deeper, you realize that it's just the longer pays better. It just does.
Do you think on Pulse Chain that because it's going to be really cheap to make stakes and to end stakes, basically having HEX lying around liquid is just deflating or devaluing because it's been.
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's still it gives you the luxury of being able to do
both.
what you want with it.
It's not mentioning
like having the liquidity.
Yeah. And that was my thing. I was going, I want the flexibility. And then I realized I'm not selling this shit anyway. Why? And do I need to sell it all in? Like, you only need a little bit to live on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. You
Um,
want to obviously hang on to the most valuable asset, which is HEX, of course.
Hang on, guys.
So, yeah.
Because that's such a market difference. Like everyone is just like, well, I'm not going to do anything for the next couple of weeks. I'll just stake it for the next couple of weeks. Like people are going to do that a lot more on Pulse. So do you think that the overall percentage of staked HEX is going to go up on Pulse, whereby that means the stakers won't be getting as much interest?
mhm.
We're only at 9.76 or something like that percent staked at the moment. So, I mean, that's awesome if you're staked 100%, but like, you know, you've still got to live at the same time too. So whether you have a job or what you do in terms of revenue, you know, obviously you don't want to come to a net sell position where you have to. That's what we're seeing. That's where it's like gets really interesting with some of the game theory as well, doesn't it?
Only really, really big stakes will be viable on ETH.
Not necessarily.
I don't.
I don't know about that.
Necessarily. Like you can still
You
do
can
a
see those rolling short stakes all the time happening. That's why that line, it's a line on HEX Vision just keeps going up all the time. Yeah, it's coming down gradually, but
I think right now it's easy to think that. But what about like when the price of ETH, like the price of ETH could go, the gas prices of ETH could go up anytime. Like something could just pump them up and make unstaking small things just not viable.
Yeah,
like
like,
we've already seen it, right? But the big ones,
you just wait it out. You just wait it out.
Yeah.
Like you're going to peak traffic times, and they might be go for 2 weeks or whatever. But
the
like
the longer stakes are going to be really expensive to unstake.
Yeah, but not compared to the price of how much they're worth.
Well, that's one. You're saying exactly what I'm saying, which is the big stakes are going to be worth it. But the smaller stakes on the ETH side are just not going to be worth it, man. So that's going to be for the Pulse side. The small, fast,
the smallest amount you would stake for 1 year on Ethereum.
I don't know, man. I'd have to work it out.
Like you wouldn't put $100 on for a year, would you?
Okay, no. I've got HEX stakes where I only staked 100 HEX.
Yeah,
and they are viable to unstake now.
Oh, really?
I'd have to go back and check, but
when you say hang on, when you say that they're viable to unstake,
they're not in a losing position. Yeah,
you're covering the cost of staking and unstaking in both of that, and then you've got stuff left over.
I would have to go and check. So I done these. I was doing demonstrations for people, and I staked 100 stakes, just 100 HEX, just to show people how it worked. And back when I done it, it was dirt cheap to do. That's why I done 100. It was cost me cents to do it. That was fine.
Yeah.
Then obviously we went through the big run up where fees went through the roof, and I was just letting these things bleed out. And I haven't gone back and had a good look at them the other day, but I just quickly glanced, and although they're getting chewed away because these have been sitting there for a long time getting eaten away, I think when I looked at it, it was still might have been viable to unstake it or not. Well, look, it may be a little bit, but that was an extreme example because no one would stake 100 HEX. But it wasn't as bad as
just a really interesting point. Can I just stop you there, boys?
I'm going to bring up my staker and see if I can find one.
No. Let's just talk about good accounting function now for a second, because that's one of the most confusing bits that within HEX that people get mixed up on. The good accounting function. So whilst those stakes bleed out, the longer the late penalties that are getting paid across, when you read it within the documentation, the HEX layman's guide and the staking deep dive, it would appear that goes into a daily pool, but it's not. That function still has to be run at the end if the stakes are bleeding out for those late penalties actually get paid to the staking class. So just to clarify,
so good accounting. Hang on, good accounting. You have to run the good accounting. Stake. No, good accounting and end stake are two different functions.
Okay.
Right. All that good end stake is the end stake is going to mint your coins, and good accounting is going to stop you from getting penalties. Good accounting is not going to mint your coins, but it's going to stop you from getting penalties. I'm
just diverting into the good accounting function on the late, because we know that there's a whole bunch of HEX stakes that are bleeding out. You know, that any good Samaritan can run the good accounting function on if they choose to. And
but what's interesting.
On ETH and on HEX, on ETH and Pulse, they're going to be run on Pulse because it might be economical. Someone might want to go in there and just run all the good accountings for all of the late stake penalties so they get paid because they've got a stake ending. and they want to get those penalties. Yeah? Does that make sense? You know it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a bit whatever, to be honest.
How dare you?
So, okay, all right. Here's a question. Here's a question for you guys. When would you run good accounting? When would you run good accounting?
Oh,
For myself or
I'll
on
tell you.
someone else?
Jexa, hang on. One at a time. Jexa, when would you run good accounting? Ever?
On my own stakes.
When would you ever run
Okay,
it, mate?
The only and I've done it the other day. Our tax year ends 30th of June in Australia, so I had obviously I've got income that I've booked over the year, and I didn't want to book extra in the year, so I've done a couple of, I think 2 or 3 stakes I've got it counted, and I haven't even bothered to end them yet. I'll probably do them in the next day or two. No hurry. I was basically just pushing them over to the next year. So it's doing what it was designed to do. That good accounting.
Yep.
For my own stake, different story for other people's stakes that are bleeding out.
So, with the whole using good accounting on other people's stakes, if you're going to do that, you need to go through. You can do it through Etherscan, right? But you can also do it through Backup HEX, right?
Backup HEX, yep.
Backup HEX is it's what's it called? backuphex.win. Is that it?
.com.
backuphex.com. Go check it out, guys. It's a great site. That is a great site. And it is exactly what its name is. It's a backup HEX website. So if go.hex.com was ever to go down, you can just use backup HEX. Is that right? It has all those functions, doesn't it? You can stake, you can do all that stuff.
Yep.
Connect your wallet, stake, you can do all that. Interacts with the HEX contract.
That's correct.
Can I
don't even think.
Can I just come back to my?
Louis.
Can I just come back to my question, which wasn't actually answered? What would be at the moment on the Ethereum chain? What would be the minimum amount of time and amount of money that you would stake on Ethereum HEX at the moment?
Good question.
You would need your interest, right, and the price fluctuation has to be covered by the start stake and the end stake.
The start stake
which is
have to be covered by that interest. Yeah.
And at the moment, if you're doing
the
a
price
short
fluctuation,
stake, so a 30-day stake.
So what do you reckon, Mark?
So a 30-day stake, to start a stake, I reckon cost you what, $2 to $3 at the moment.
About $2 to $3.
1 month is. Let's just say 1 month is about 1% return. 1 month is about 1%.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so about 1% return, and I think for a 1 month stake, you would get in for $3 or $4, and you'd probably get out for the same. There's not that much computation that has to happen. I don't think it would be that expensive to end. Probably a couple of bucks to end, I would imagine.
So if you're going to get 1%, then you're going to need a few $100s for it to make it worthwhile.
$500 would be the minimum.
$500, $600, $700.
6 months.
For what? That was for 30. That was for 30
That's
days.
for 30. That's for 1 month.
Oh, $500 for 1 month.
Probably more. Probably a little bit more, because if you're saying it's about $4 to start stake and another $4.10 stake, that's $8. You're going to need to just break even. You're going to need $800 at 1%, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
not
just
for any appreciation.
Yeah, that's assuming everything's stable in the system. So that's clearly not really worth. Why would you do that? Why would you only stake for 1 month $1,000? Right? That's not
to be on the safe side. To be on the safe side, like
to be on the safe side.
I've been thinking along the lines of $1,000 for a year min.
I like to think of it like the minimum you would stake needs to be the minimum you would stake in the real world in a bank CD. To me, that, like, if you just follow that philosophy, I don't think you're going to go wrong. You're probably not going to stake for less than a year, and you're probably not going to stake less than 1, 2, 3, 4 grand, right? If you do that, I think that you're going to be okay in HEX. I really think if you just treat it like a CD, a term deposit, you're going to be fine.
I would agree with that.
So the micro strategy stuff on Pulse HEX will work though.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will. It'll bring in all
And
the
that
all the
actually
fast,
opens
all the
up.
fast bits and
That
pieces.
opens
Yeah,
up a whole. So, ETH HEX, it's a bit more of an expensive game. PHEX, that is going to open up a whole raft of opportunities for little saving games for kids and all sorts of stuff. If you wanted to build something where kids could get rewarded and you put a little bit of HEX into it.
Exactly. They should teach this in schools, but they don't. They don't. They let the banks go in there. It's like sending Ronald McDonald in to teach them about food nutrition, isn't it? So there you go.
If you can get a really basic cut down interface for a kid's saving app or something like that, that's a winner, I reckon.
Hey, you're onto something there, mate. I reckon that's the next.
And anyone that want to create that,
it's a generational step change.
Someone needs to turn this into some sort of piggy bank looking, like you add like a little face of a pig and the tail. There you go. There's an idea for someone out there. That was for free. That idea is for free.
Oh, mate, I'll bundle that up and sell it to the banks for $1 billion, mate. I'll make a fortune doing that.
Hey, Unrec, there's a comment there from Gab A. Can you just throw that up? I think that's a good comment there.
This one. Let's do some mad gains.
$1,000 did me for 1 year, and it went to 18 grand. There you go.
Where do you get that?
Hey,
there you go.
Where does that ever happen?
That'll cover your end stacking costs.
That will cover your absolutely.
Juicy mad gains in HEX, aren't there? Oh, there's some juicy mad gains to be had. That's right, folks. You heard it here on the Late Show.
There you go, Bluey. So someone could get away with a $500
6-month
stake. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, just the point I was trying to make about that. You have to run that.
Yeah.
Yep. To go back to day 43, Zoe, your question about when you run the good accounting function, you run it on other people, or you look at the list, and if there's like say 10 million HEX bleeding out, and it's been bleeding out for a couple of years, then you run the good accounting function. Yes, very much so, because that takes their T-shares out, and then you get a bigger slice of the pool. Yeah,
you get their penalties.
You get the penalties.
Yeah. So and it's always going to be worthwhile for whales to do that. Like that's a function that whales would run because they're going to get the biggest slice. Like whales who stake, they're going to get the biggest slice of those penalties. So it's in their interest to run that function.
Yeah.
You know.
So can I just say something and make sure that I'm correct, and because this may put it in a bit of perspective. So there's stakes worth $14 million at the moment that are bleeding out. So we can see that on backuphex.com. And if I've got a stake that's due to end in a year's time, let's say it's due to end tomorrow.
Right.
And that one that's bleeding out hasn't been good accounted, I don't get those penalties. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So if my stake ends, I don't get any of those penalties.
You don't get any of those penalties.
Yep.
That is correct.
So that was my thinking of it. So when we look at the daily payout chart and you see a big spike up to 13 because someone, that's different. That's an emergency end stake.
That's an early end stake. That's early end stake, not late end stake.
Yeah, so
that's the thing, mate.
But there's still penalties that go to. There's still penalties that go.
Yeah.
There's still penalties in the system.
But you have to wait until the end of it all bleeding out completely to get all of those penalties to the stakers. Otherwise, it gets good account, and whatever has been penalised up to that point is given to the others.
That's right.
But if you're a whale and yours is ready to exit, then you're going to run it because you don't care about it going to the end. You just want like your portion of it. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's nice to look at. It's nice to ogle all those ones that are bleeding out, but unless you're there when they good account, then you don't get anything from it.
Yeah, look, everyone wait till they're let out. That's the smartest thing to do, and then do it. Like,
but if it's okay. As long as you've got 15-year stakes, then that's fine. Yeah.
And it's very interesting that the staking length is increasing. The average staking length has gone from 18 months to 2 years to 4 years to 5 years.
What are we on at the moment?
Between 5 and 6 years now. So, yeah.
We're 5.7 years average. Can you believe that?
That's going up. It
That
goes
is
up
unbelievable.
time, doesn't it?
That is unbelievable. The average stake length is 5.7 years.
But that just tells you that there's more of an investor mindset in HEX. There's more of a long-term investor aspect. It's not a trader.
Just let that sink in for a second.
Okay.
Let that sink in. That is the quality of people that we have in HEX. We have people who are long-term thinkers, who have a long time preference. You know, they're not thinking about tomorrow per se. They're thinking about like what their life needs to be in 5, 10, 15 years. In 5.7 years. Exactly. But I mean, that's a real, that's when you think about it, you really reflect upon it. That says something about the community, doesn't it? It really does.
Well, it says that everyone actually understands the importance of a productive asset and why you want to build something around that. It's funny. I had guys hit me up the other day, and he said, "Oh, I'm looking at this HEX thing, and I was a little bit put off at first." He goes, "I'm going to get some now." He goes, "But is it ever going to do any more than what it does?" And I'm like, "So you're not happy with something that is a high appreciating asset that
you get more
is productive and pays more of it?" I don't think it's going to do any more of that, mate.
It's your girlfriend as well.
And the wise of tangent, Hex is banging the prom queen while you're looking through the window. And speaking of that, on that note, hey, boys and girls, we do have to push off at some stage because we do have Kinetics coming up in the mornings with HEX on the Discourse Syndicate Network. I'll just... So yes, it is coming up to time, ladies and gentlemen.
What are they? What time are
they?
They
scratch the surface.
They're on at midnight our time.
We've got ages then.
Oh, good.
All good.
Okay, we'll keep going then.
Hey, we're at 102
Right.
viewers. Hey guys, make sure you
massive.
like and subscribe to the Discourse Syndicate channel. And also, let's shill Unwreck's YouTube channel. It's Unwrecked Pirate on YouTube. So go check that out. Subscribe. Blue Bum, you've got a YouTube channel as well, don't you?
I do. Blue Bum. Oh, Stig Carnsey is mine, actually.
What is it?
Stig Carnsey. Yeah, it's just this character I used to do.
So do you actually do it in character?
Stig Carnsey, yeah. I'm an expert. I can kill a man with my bare hands.
Take a good look at my face, see?
There's 48 ways to kill a man with your bare hands. I am proficient in 3 of them. Yeah.
I like it, man. That is very convincing.
I really like painful ways to die.
That accent is very convincing, mate. I like it.
It's like there's a Cuban art tap. That's when you just like you do that thing when you tap their art, dead.
I like the one where you rain flying kicks to the head. Have you seen that? It's like the flying kicks just knock them out.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That one.
Speaking of flying kicks, have any of you guys seen that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with the Bruce Lee, the scene with Bruce Lee in it and Brad Pitt? Have you guys anyone seen that? No one's seen that.
No.
Oh, there's this scene. All right, guys, I'm gonna give away what happens in this scene. So, cover your ears if you don't want to know what happened. So in this scene, Bruce Lee and Brad Pitt, who I think is supposed to be Gene LaBelle. Have you guys ever heard of Gene LaBelle? He's like this famous American judo, jiu-jitsu guy from but he was a stunt man. He was like old school tough motherfucker, right? And I think it's supposed to have been him, right? And they have apparently they had this altercation, and Gene LaBelle like Bruce Lee used to treat all the stuntmen like shit. He used to not have respect for them, and then he came up against Gene LaBelle, and Gene LaBelle they decided they're going to do out of 3 who gets knocked down the most times out of 3. And the first time, this is in the movie, by the way. So I don't know how real it is. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. But he He gets knocked down. Hey, it's what? It's not true.
It's all true for
For
sure.
sure. Yeah, of course, man. Especially, yeah. So the first thing, he lets him knock him down. He lets Bruce Lee knock him down on the first one. In the second one, what's he do? He like turns around and he just smacks him into a car and just fucks him up. So I would love to know if something along those lines actually happened, man. Because Gene LaBelle was that guy was a real, like, no joke, real fucking tough guy.
Bruce Lee was more of a dancer than a fighter. Like,
where's you?
He was a choreographer. No, it wasn't a fighting art that he was doing. It was like it was show, it was spectacle, and it was choreographed. It was highly kind of, you know.
He was more kung fu though, wasn't he? And that's what kung fu is. He
was mixed. He brought in from all over the place. So he kind of, I think he's kung fu based.
Yeah. But Gene LaBelle apparently fucked him up. Like, fucked him up.
That's surprising.
We need to find that clip for next time.
That wouldn't be surprising.
I started watching that Pulp Fiction. That's a really good film, eh?
Isn't it? You know, that film.
I love that film, man.
Starts and ends at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end.
Yeah, right at the start.
That actually set a whole genre of films to do that after that one was. That one was great. Like when you went and watched it, like, you just had no clue what the hell was going on, and then it all pieced together. And then a lot of movies came out with those sliced timelines like that.
Yeah.
Do you know which one I really liked as well? That Quentin Tarantino was in it. I think it was called From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn, and
that was one weird movie.
Yeah, and George Clooney's in it, and he had this like, this was before these sorts of tats.
What came out first between Pulp Fiction and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels? Which one? Pulp came out first, didn't it?
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I'm going Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
I'm going to say Lock, Stock.
Really?
I don't know. It was around the same time, yeah.
No, Lock, Stock.
Lock, Stock was after?
Yeah, I've got two answers to one question. Okay.
Is someone going to look it up?
What's the answer?
I'll look it up. I don't know. I was wondering.
I thought it was like trivia. I thought you had the answer, dude.
So is this our new segment? Was this on the run sheet? Movie trivia?
It'll be trivia where I don't know the answer. Yeah, that's a really good idea, isn't it?
There was a time in my life when I knew, like, what was it called? Ezekiel 29:17. 29:17? I don't know. Yeah. Whatever it was. Ezekiel, whatever that thing was.
Somewhere he's got bad motherfucker in his wallet, yeah.
Bad
Pulp Fiction 1994 for Pulp Fiction. Have we got a date for Lock, Stock?
Yeah, for Lock, Stock. So
we got some shocking audio coming through.
10 years.
What is that?
Years. Pardon?
We got some shocking audio coming through. What was that? It's gone away. It's all good.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction was 94.
Yeah. In
1994. And Lock, Stock was 2003.
No.
Holy shit.
It was 98.
Was it?
Lock, Stock, I think.
T-Bird saying it's 2003. 2003 sounds late. Sounds late to me.
No, it's 98 is Lock, Stock.
Hey, you know, I was thinking about this the other day. You know how like the old school generation, they all know where they were when President Kennedy got shot. They're like, that was the moment, like, that everyone just knows where they were. So I was like thinking, what's our moment? And it's got to be like 9/11, right? Everyone knows where they were in 9/11.
Yeah, I was watching it live.
That's right. You were. That's right.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah, full on.
You were there.
You were there. You were there. You were in New York.
In New York City, were you?
I was there. I was watching. The first plane had already gone in, and I was watching it burn, and I was watching it, and I saw the plane come, and it was all completely in black. That's what I remember, and it just smashed into it, and it was crazy. I was only a matter of like maybe a few K away or something. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
I was at the Javits Centre, which is like 49th and 12th Avenue or something like that, like a bit uptown.
We try to unpick the past so we can interpret the present, so that we can work out what's going on in the future, don't we? So
So how long
we
ago
are
was
getting a bit of
that?
the wind up.
It's 2000.
It's 20 years ago.
It's 2021. So September 11 this year is 20 years. Can you believe 20 years has passed since that?
Can you bring up SA Beach's comment?
I had one of those old box TVs, and I just happened to be staying up late that night, and I turned it on, and it was there. Yeah, I was like, right. That's weird. That look biblical. Yeah.
You got to put that you got to put that up, mate. SA Beach Fisher.
Which one is that?
Having a little morning delight. Yeah, man. I was
Unrec,
living,
that's something you would write, mate.
like I was living in Brooklyn at the time. I was living just over the what the bridge? Not the Brooklyn Bridge, the other one. Williamstown Bridge. Had to walk back over. Brooklyn.
Holy
There you
shit,
go.
man! Can you imagine? My God, being in New York when that happened. And didn't you say that?
We've got another one, Spike, in the chat saying he was in Brooklyn. When
didn't you say
happened,
that you
there you go.
just started walking towards it or something?
Yeah, I got really excited. I got really kind of, this is full on. I'm in a war zone. I want to go and check it out. I started walking down towards it and stuff, and yeah. It's a wild
What
day.
would you do the same thing now, or do you think it's just a matter of just being young and whatever?
No, I'd probably do the same thing now. I'd rather be out and checking everything out rather than hiding somewhere.
So we're getting into some interesting human behaviour in emergency situations conversation, and I think on that note, we might have to call it a night because then I'll go into my.
I don't know, man.
That was the smoothest segue I've ever seen.
Oh, we're about to start something really interesting.
Well, you know what they say: 15% of people don't have a clue what's going on. Another 15% are just like getting in the way, being nuffs, and then another 15% might actually take control and know how to make rational decisions or whatever. Fundamentals. Psychology.
Did you guys see the documentary about the guy who tightrope walked across the Twin Towers?
Oh no! No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God! It's the most amazing documentary.
Hey, Unrect. Sorry, Unrect. You've got a band hammer, right? You got a band hammer.
I don't. Yeah. Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, might just have to knock that one on the head. Someone's.
Oh, we got trolling, are we?
Oh,
well, I think that's another.
I need to get a band hammer from. I need
any
to
of
get
the
a band
DS,
hammer, mate.
this is on the Discord Syndicate Network. There's heaps of guys that got the hammer. So I'm sure I haven't got that open because when I open another window, then my window drops out on this particular Chromebook that I'm using.
No, it doesn't matter.
I just ignore shit like that. Just ignore it. Don't worry about it.
No.
It's all good. They can. They're just like little what do they call them? Little crabs in a bucket. They go snap, snap.
It's hard to tell sometimes because all the names that most of the community members have got pretty much look like that anyway.
I don't know about that one. That's
I haven't seen that one before. That is a new one. I haven't seen that. But, all right, that's gonna. We might just have to call it a night, boys. We'll catch up.
Yeah,
we'll end the live stream there, and we'll just hang on backstage. We'll unpack the debrief. Cheers, boys. Thank you. Thanks everyone in the chat. Good night. We'll see you all again next week. Thank you.